The nature of the Pomeranian. Even among the small dogs, the Pomeranian is one of those with a particularly small body size. It grows to a maximum of 22 centimeters, but the tiny one has it all. If you buy a Pomeranian, you get an extremely lively companion who is both affectionate and independent. He always seems to be on the move, which is why he prefers to be busy anytime, anywhere. He is also a very loyal and devoted dog who prefers to spend all his time with his people. It is therefore all the more important to teach him from an early age to spend a few hours alone, because the Pomeranian doesn't appreciate that very much due to his fixation on humans. He loves to play and always learns new tricks with which he can please his owner. This makes the Pomeranian one of the dog breeds that are particularly easy to train and learn very quickly. However, owners of this lively little fellow should not be particularly sensitive to noise, as the Pomeranian likes to bark often. On the one hand, to indicate when an unauthorized person is approaching a property or house. The little one is an excellent guard dog and was already used in earlier centuries to guard houses and yards. On the other hand, the Pomeranian also expresses joy by barking, and sometimes barking for no apparent reason to outsiders. But it is also a matter of upbringing to get the dog to limit its loud utterances to a socially acceptable level. He needs a firm hand anyway, since he can also be very stubborn to the point of ignoring all orders. Even as a puppy, you should get him used to other pets. Otherwise, he could behave dismissively in this regard, as he would with strangers. In general, he feels more comfortable with older children than with small children, where he can sometimes bite. If you become familiar with the peculiarities of the Pomeranian and pay attention to them, the small dog breed, also known as the Pomeranian, is very sociable. It bears the name Pomeranian, or Pom for short, in other countries and primarily in Great Britain, because the famous White-tip, an international export hit, was bred in Pomerania. Highlights: Pomeranians are generally suspicious of strangers and show this by barking loudly. It's not that easy to house-train a Pomeranian. This requires a lot of patience and training. The Pomeranian is a domestic dog and should never be kept in an outdoor kennel. Their biggest problem in this regard is their sensitivity to heat. They are prone to heat stroke, so at the slightest sign of overheating, get them into the shade, or better yet, indoors. Very small or extremely energetic children should never play with a Pomeranian unsupervised, as they can easily be injured if they play too vigorously. Due to the small body size of the Pomeranian, caution is also called for when walking. Such small dogs are a favorite prey of birds of prey and other animal hunters. Pet catchers are also interested in small, cute dogs, so Pomeranians should not be left unsupervised in a yard that is overlooked. Although the Pomeranian is very small, at times he seems to feel like a big dog that no one can harm. His owner needs to compensate for this overconfidence by being careful not to overly provoke other dogs. As Pomeranians age, they sometimes develop bald patches in their fur. Temperament. Restrained is something that the Pomeranian does not know at all. Rather, the clever, extroverted dog is always at the forefront and tends to overestimate itself. Because he keeps messing with big dogs, he seems to think he's a lot bigger than he really is. It is therefore a constant task for his owners to keep him from provoking larger dogs, which he does at practically every opportunity. But that doesn't mean that the Pomeranian isn't sympathetic, quite the opposite. He is very bright and curious, likes to make new acquaintances. He usually gets along very well with other animals. He just has to somehow internalize the scale. Keeping the Pomeranian's temperament in check is also a big task for its owners because that always get away with it. Of course, it's nice when a dog is so active and lively, but the Pomeranian never ends on its own. In his view, he could continue his loud barking, which makes him an excellent watchdog, all day long. Of course, this gets on your nerves at some point and also causes problems with the neighbors. It is therefore particularly important to teach the Pomeranian at an early age to stop barking on command. Since he is also very smart, it is not a problem for him to understand everything. He may just not always feel like implementing it. It is advisable to pay close attention to all puppies with the breeder. Everyone has their own personality, and you shouldn't necessarily choose the biggest bully in the litter, especially with the Pomeranian. If you have your little Pomeranian at home, you should start training it right away. For inexperienced dog owners, it is advisable to visit a puppy school, where the four-legged friend and also the dog owner learns the most important things. From the very beginning, the puppy should also be confronted with situations that will occur more frequently in its future life. Owners who receive a lot of visitors should get him used to other people early on. He should also soon be socialized with other animals and people he meets on walks. This is how his social skills will gradually develop. Breed diseases. Like all pedigree dogs, Pomeranians are prone to certain diseases. You don't necessarily have to be affected, but before you buy a Pomeranian, you should get a medical certificate confirming that they do not have any hereditary eye or heart diseases, hip dysplasia HD, elbow dysplasia, patella luxation PL, and deafnesses. Allergies. The Pomeranian can have food, contact, or environmental allergies. It is suspicious if the dog constantly licks its buttocks or rubs its face. The vet can carry out appropriate tests. Eye diseases. Pomeranians have very sensitive eyes and are therefore prone to dry eyes, keratoconjunctivitis sicca KCS, conjunctivitis, and cataracts. If left untreated, these problems can lead to blindness, which is why a veterinarian should be consulted if there are any abnormalities. Epilepsy. If a Pomeranian suffers from epilepsy, it will manifest itself through seizures. The vet can prescribe soothing medication. Hip dysplasia. This deformation of the hip joint depends on many factors such as heredity, environmental influences, and diet. Affected Pomeranians can often still lead a normal, largely symptom-free life. If not, surgery can ultimately help. Legg-Calvé-Perthes disease. This misalignment of the hip joint can either be hereditary or caused by an injury. At the beginning, there is a circulatory disorder in parts of the femoral head, which gradually causes them to die off. As a result, the femoral bone loses stability, collapses, and deforms. This results in arthritis or inflammation of the hip joint. Physiotherapy or surgery can provide relief for many affected dogs. Patella dislocation. This painful inflammation of the knee joint, which occurs mainly in small dog breeds, is a dislocation of the kneecap patella that hurts with every step, which is why the dogs do not put any weight on the affected leg and resort to a three-legged run. Treatment is medication, but surgery is more common. Tracheal collapse. In this disease, the windpipe trachea collapses because the supporting cartilage braces are too weak. The most noticeable symptom is a chronic, dry, hard cough that sounds very unpleasant. A collapsed trachea can be treated medically or surgically. Dental problems. Pomeranians are very prone to dental and gum disease, which, if left untreated, can also lead to the loss of teeth. Regular professional dental checkups are advisable. Are you thinking about getting a Pomeranian? Let us know what you decide in the comments below. And if you know someone who's thinking about getting a Pomeranian, please share this with them. You like this video, check out our website. The link is in the description of this video. Otherwise, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.